are very happy to have him today, and he is here to share a story with you. So please welcome Mr. Justin Ford.
I know you guys can do better than that. Give me a hand. All right, what I'm going to want you guys to do, if you don't mind, is to move in the middle. Are they allowed to move in the middle?
We can't as long as they stay in groups.
Okay, stay in your groups and move to the middle, please, guys. Is there any way to get Pump it up, there you go. Can you guys hear me okay? How's everybody doing this morning? Doing good? I can't hear you. How's everybody doing this morning? Let me tell you guys something, okay? I'm a motivational speaker, and I speak in schools all throughout Detroit because I share my story, and I always started like this, guys. I know that times can be tough. I know that you guys may be going through some things, and I know that life may be a little bit hard, but guess what? You guys woke up today. And I always challenge you with that because life is tough. Life is hard. We have struggles. We go through things. But every day that you get a chance and an opportunity to wake up, you should be happy about that. Why? Because that means that you have another opportunity. You have another chance. You guys know that some people didn't wake up this morning. Some people, even your age, went to bed last night and didn't even wake up. Because see, how many of you guys know that once you die, you can't come back? How many of you guys know that once you stop breathing and your heart stops beating, it's game over? So I share my story with young people. And you may say, well, what do you have in common with me and why are you here? Well, guess what, guys? Who's the youngest person in this class? How old are you? 11 years old? I got a 12-year-old daughter. Who's the oldest in this class or in this room? How old are you, bro? 16. You're 16? And you're in the wrong school, sir. 14, okay. Well, let me share with you guys. Watch this. It seems like just yesterday that I was 14 years old. It seems like just yesterday I was 11 years old. And I'm here to share a couple things with you guys. I want to challenge you guys today as young people. How many of you guys think that life is hard right now? Raise your hand. Okay, you're going through some things, right? Right? It's not easy out there, is it, young man? Yeah. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. How many of you guys, is this the 7th and 8th grade? Who's in 8th grade? Raise your hand. Are you guys ready for high school? Yeah. Yeah, what high school are you guys going to? Okay. Well, watch this. Is there any way you guys can all move up and fill these seats for me right here? I'd like to have you guys up here so I can have your attention. Huh? Most of these chairs are broke? Okay. Well, then as long as you guys can hear me and I have your full attention, that's all that matters. I go into high schools most of the time, guys. This is actually my first time coming into a lower school from K to 8. So you guys have the first privilege and the opportunity to be a part of that. You guys are being on camera right now, so turn around and wave to everybody. Go ahead and wave. Yeah? But watch this, guys. I go into high schools. I go into Mumford. I was just at Mumford the other day. I was just at Northwestern High School. And I go into high schools because I challenge young people. Because how many of you guys know that young people, especially in the inner city, are dying left and right? Does anybody know a young person that's ever died? Raise your hand. Right? And a lot of times, guys, young people are dying based on decisions that they are making. Decisions that they're making. You know, it's very rare for a young person just to die because they got sick and died or they had a heart attack. My man in the back, can you please sit up for me, please? Both you guys. I take this very serious. I need you guys to sit up. And the reason I take it very seriously is because based on some statistics I'm going to read in a few minutes, that if you guys don't hear this message and you guys go out into the world, you guys may be subject to fall into some of these statistics, okay? Got some more people coming in? Come on in.
Yeah, this is Raven, yes. Yes, yeah.
You guys guys can come up here, up front. If you guys can come up a little bit closer, I'd appreciate it. You guys can come over here in the middle. There's some seats right here. There's one more right here. Just gonna have to squeeze in like the frosting between two cookies. You're in. There you go. Don't do that. That's not cool. All right, so for those of you guys who just walked in, my name is Justin Ford. I was actually asked to come speak to you guys today. I'm a motivational speaker, and I have a story to tell. A story to tell. And the story that I'm about to share with you guys is not based on skin color, because how many people know that whether you're white or black, we still go through hard times? It doesn't matter if you're from the city or the suburbs, we still go through hard times. It doesn't matter if you're from the city or the suburbs, the same things young people are being faced with in the city are the same things that young people are faced with in the suburbs. But I do want to say this. I heard that you guys are some of the best students in town. That's what I heard. I heard that you guys are some of the best students in this area, so I want you guys to give yourselves a hand right now. Give yourselves a hand. Seriously. Give yourselves a hand. We got more people coming in? No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. No, it's okay. I'm used to it. And you know what, my man? Why would you say that's the wrong information? Okay, well, he said most of you guys in this room act crazy every day. Well, guess what? Hold up, watch this, guys, watch. Hey, no, watch. Young people do act crazy. That's a part of growing up. But here's the thing, you don't have to act crazy to the point where it jeopardizes your future and it jeopardizes your life. See, when I was your age, I was in middle school. And really, I was just like you guys. Trying to be cool, trying to hang out, trying to fit in, not really wanting to go to school. And if we can talk, real, like I like to be real with the people I talk to, I don't like to be fake. So even though you got a couple teachers in here, I'd rather have you focus on me and answer the questions that I ask. Even though that they're here and you may be afraid to answer those questions, it's okay. How many of you guys actually don't like coming to school? Raise your hand. You can be honest. You don't like school. Okay. How many of you guys think school is boring? Raise your hand. Right? I'm in the right place. That's normal. But let me ask you guys another question. Ready? Listen up. Ready? How many of you guys want to be successful when you grow up? Raise your hand. Every single one of you guys. Every single one of you guys. Some of you guys are raising 2 hands. Right? But guess what? I'm here to tell you guys this. She's even raising her legs. You really want to be successful, don't you? But watch this. Listen up. How many of you guys know that success starts with coming to school? And I know you don't want to hear it. And I know it's hard. But if you guys want to be successful when you grow up, you got to go to school first. And you got to get good grades. And you got to pay attention. Because I know you guys probably like hanging out. How many of you guys like to hang out at home? Raise your hand. How many of you guys like to play basketball? Raise your hand. How many of you guys like to play video games? Raise your hand. Right? But watch this, guys. Listen up. I need your attention. I need your attention. Oh, no, you don't have to pass those out yet. Oh, it's okay. I might have them passed out at the end, because if not, it'll be all. I want you guys' attention up here. How many of you guys think that playing video games will make you guys successful? Raise your hand, honestly. Be honest. Okay? You really think so? Guess what? Video games will not make you successful, guys. Unless you go on like the Madden tournament and you actually win the $100,000, but guess what? $100,000 isn't a lot of money when you grow up. It's not. How many of you guys, unless you go into the NBA, how many of you guys want to go into the NBA and be a basketball player? Right? Good. How many of you guys know that in order to go into the NBA nowadays, you got to go to college, right? Pay attention, guys. Listen, I need your full attention. If you guys work hard in school, guess what? The benefits will come when you get out of school. You guys just walked in here, and the question that I asked earlier was, how many of you guys think school is boring? Raise your hand. Any of you guys over here? You guys like school? Give these ladies a hand over here for liking school. Give them a hand. At least, hey, they're either not raising their hand or they're raising their hand. It's okay. So I'm going to share my story with you guys, but again, I need your full and undivided attention. Because again, like I said, I heard you guys are some of the best students in town, so I want you guys to act like it, okay? 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 Can you do that for me? You can do that. Good. All right, I'm going to share my story with you guys. When I was 14 years old, okay, which, did you say you're 14 years old in the back, my man? You're 14, right? You're going to be in 9th grade next year? Okay. There's a big transition from middle school to high school, guys. There's a lot of older kids over there. You guys already may know some kids that are over at the high school. But some of the things that you guys are going through right now are going to increase. The struggles increase, the temptations increase. And as you get a little bit older and become a little bit, more knowledgeable, then you're going to be faced with a lot of decisions. You're going to be faced with a lot of decisions. And some of these things that I'm going to share with you guys today, some of you guys may already be struggling with these things. Some of you guys may already be doing these things. But I'm here because I care about you guys. People ask me, why do you go into schools and talk to kids? Because I care about kids. But you're white and you're going into an all-black school. I said, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing. Color don't mean nothing. My pastor's black. One of my best friends is black. My wife is Mexican. I got mixed kids. And there's been a lie that has been placed in a lot of our minds that just because our skin color is a little bit different, that we can't hang out, we can't be friends, and we can't learn from each other. Let me ask you a question. How many hands do I have? How many hands do I have? How many hands do you have? How many eyes do I have? How many eyes do you have? How many legs do I have? How many legs do you have? So guess what? I think the only thing that's a little bit different than us is I'm just light-skinned. Light-skinned and you guys are a little bit darker than me. Because guess what, guys? We're all the same. We're all the same. We just have a little bit different experiences. Listen up. We just have a little bit different experiences, guys. But guess what? I came from a divorced home. I didn't grow up with my mom and my dad living with me at home. How many of you guys right now do not have both mom and dad in your home? Raise your hand. Right? Same with me, guys. Same with me. How many of you guys right now, your dad is not in your life? Raise your hand. Right? And I want to tell you guys something. I want to tell you guys, hold up, listen. That's not your fault. It's not your fault that your mom and your dad aren't both living with you. It's not your fault that your dad is not in your life right now. But how many of you guys know that plays a role on a young person when they're growing up? When your mom and your dad are not in the house with you, raising you, it plays a major role with you growing up. Young ladies, it is so important to know who you are and to be loved at a young age so you don't have to go look for it in one of these young guys. And a lot of times when daddy's absent, and he's not giving you the love that you need as a young lady, you go look for it in other places. And I'm going to share with you guys how that can actually become very detrimental and become a bad thing for you. Young men, if you guys don't have dad in your life, and you don't have him telling you guys how awesome that you are, and how great that you are, that you're a champion, you guys try to go look for it in these young ladies over here, and have them tell you that you're the man. And a lot of times that can become detrimental and become a bad experience for you guys. See, I didn't have that both mom and dad figure in my house. And when I was young, I'll cut straight to the chase, guys. I dropped out of high school. I'm a felon. I sold drugs to a cop and I went to jail. I've been in and out of jail. I used to do drugs, sell drugs, get high, drink, run the streets. I thought I was the man. And you know why I did that? Because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was. And the reality with young people is this, guys. A lot of times young people think they know it all. A lot of times they think they got it going on and you got all the answers. And these teachers that are here, the people that are in your life, your parents, your grandparents, your aunties, your uncles, that they can't tell you anything. Just like some of you guys are laughing while I'm up here like I can't tell you anything. And that's sad, but that's so true because I go into schools all over and I'm used to it. So I'm not looking. I would love for every single person in this room to hear my message and to learn something today. How many of you guys want to learn something today? Raise your hand. Because if I can't teach you something, you guys can always go back to class and do some work, right, teachers? Right? They can make you guys want to go back and do some work? Okay. So watch this. So when I was young, I thought I knew it all, just like some of you guys. And I'm here to share with you guys how me thinking that I knew it all and being your age and moving forward did not work out too good for me. And because I go into high schools, guys, and I work with kids a lot older than you, if something doesn't change, I can already say I already know where a lot of you guys end up, based on statistics. How many of you guys want to go to jail? Raise your hand. How many of you guys want to drop out of high school? Raise your hand. How many of you guys want to get a sexually transmitted disease like AIDS? Raise your hand. How many of you guys want to put yourself into a situation where you get killed? Raise your hand. How many of you guys, like I said, want to be successful? Raise your hand. This is why I take this serious, guys. This is why I take this serious because you guys right now, as 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, want to be successful. You don't want to become a victim to what's happening to a lot of young people. You just said it yourself. You just said it yourself. And the last thing that I want to see is any one of you guys end up in a situation that causes you guys to fall by the wayside. See, when I go into high schools, 9th graders have the biggest class. How many of you guys are going into 9th grade next year? Raise your hand. Right? Actually, stand up for me, 9th graders. I want to see you. Honestly, just be honest. Just be honest. Guys, be honest. Watch this. Watch this. Okay? Let me speak to you guys for a minute. Listen up. Hear me. Stand up. Stand up. If you're going into 9th grade next year, stand up. Stand up. Watch this. Listen up, guys. Let me talk to these guys for a second. Listen. Watch. Hey, future 9th graders, look at me, right here. Do you know that the statistics, listen to this, the statistics say that by the time that you guys hit 10th or 11th grade, that half of you guys are already going to be high school dropouts. Half of you guys. Now look at me, bro. I'm telling you what the statistics say. And look at me, look at me. You just said that you don't want to be a dropout, right? Right. You said that too, right, my man? Right? You said it too? You don't want to drop out of high school, right? Do you? No? Well, if you guys don't want to drop out of high school, guess what? There's some things that you guys got to do when you get to high school. It's called you got to put in some work. You can have a seat. Give the future 9th graders a hand, guys. Give them a hand. Give them a hand. Give them a hand. Because I'll be out of here. All right. I don't know what's wrong with this mic. Oh. It's old-fashioned, yeah. It's okay, though. All right, guys, so here's my story. I thought I knew it all. I got into high school, and I wanted to be cool. I wanted to fit in. I didn't really think that doing homework was important. I didn't think that doing schoolwork was important. And I'm going to tell you guys this, that you'll be, before you know it, you'll be in high school, and you'll be faced with decisions to either do what's right or do what's wrong. And when you get into high school, guess what, guys? They're going to want you guys to do homework. They're going to want you guys to do good in school. Because how many of you guys actually want to go to college? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you guys know that in order to go to college, you got to have good grades? And in order to go to college and have good grades, that means you got to do work in school. And you have to study for tests. And you got to get good grades. How many of you guys, honestly, because I can ask your teachers anyway, how many of you guys actually right now are getting good grades right now? If you're honest to say it, raise your hand. Okay? Be honest, because again, I'm not taking score. I'm just trying to see who's for real and who's not. Who's getting good grades in their class? Raise their hand. Your teachers will be able to look around and know. At least you guys are honest, right? At least you guys are honest.
First quarter.
So watch this. Some of you guys right now may already be using drugs. Some of you guys already may be, listen up, I'm speaking real to you guys right now. Some of you guys already may be using drugs and getting high. Some of you guys already may be having sex. It's not really funny. I mean, you can laugh about it. But if you can't have a real conversation, because I was told by your teachers that you guys were all pretty mature and we could have a real conversation. But if we can't have a conversation, then I'm going to have the teachers escort the ones out of the class, out of the auditorium here that can't handle the conversation. You guys, I'm here to talk about making certain decisions, guys. There's consequences to those things. And when you go out and you make bad decisions, guys, it can really hurt you or harm you forever. I was 17 years old and I got this girl pregnant. And I had my first child when I was 18 years old after I dropped out of high school. My daughter is about to be 13 this year, so I have a daughter that's about your guys' age. And my daughter thinks that she knows it all. And I'm trying to teach and train my daughter how to do good in school because your future depends on it, guys. Do you guys know that right now Detroit is the laughingstock of the nation? That you students, the Detroit students, even though you guys aren't DPS anymore, people look at us and consider us the worst students in the whole country. And you know what, guys? That upsets me. That upsets me. Because Detroit used to be one of the greatest cities in the world. Detroit used to be a city that everybody used to live in. Detroit used to be a city that everybody used to love. And now everybody's running up out of Detroit as fast as they can. Nobody wants anything to do with Detroit. How many of you guys are sick of seeing Detroit the way that it is? Murder, crime, nonsense. Raise your hand. If you want to see the city of Detroit change, raise your hand. Well, guess what, guys? I'm here to tell you that you are the change. You are the change. That if you guys don't rise up and actually make a change and make a difference in our city, guys, guess what? Our city is going to continue to go downhill. How many of you guys have older brothers and sisters? Raise your hand. Older brothers and sisters, okay? Now watch this. Be honest with me. Ready? Be honest with me. How many of you guys are disappointed at some of the decisions that your older brothers and sisters have made? Raise your hand. Most of you guys. Most of you guys. Well, let me ask you this. Pay attention. Listen up. Watch. If you guys are disappointed with some of the things that your older brothers and sisters have done, I challenge you guys to do something different. Do something different. Do something different. I see on the back wall, we shall overcome. How many of you guys signed that up there? What does it mean to overcome, guys? Huh? Do better? What else does overcoming mean? To achieve. What else? To go over. What else? What does overcome mean, my man? To succeed. Which you said you want to be successful, right? How many of you guys, honestly, every day, even though you guys sign that form up there, even though you guys sign that thing where it says, we shall overcome, how many of you guys can honestly say, be honest, you actually do that on a daily basis? Right? And you know what, guys? It's easy. How many of you guys know it's easy to get in trouble? Raise your hand. It's easy. It's easy. It is easy. Very easy. How many of you guys know it's hard to do what's right? Raise your hand. It's hard. It's not really hard for some, but some of us it's hard, right? It was hard for me to do right when I was young. It was hard for me to do right when I was young. I was always the one clowning, making people laugh, getting in trouble, disrupting the classroom. And I got good grades. I got like all A's and B's. But guess what? I wanted to be cool and hang out. So what did I do? I dropped out of high school. And how many of you guys know right now that the statistics of young people, because when I go into a specific school, like if I'm in the suburbs and it's predominantly all white, I get statistics that I study about white kids. If I go into an all-black school, I get statistics that are based on all black students. If I go into a Hispanic school, I study for Hispanic statistics, guys. And I want you guys to hear this real quick, because this is pretty sad, and this grieves my heart. This grieves my heart. How many of you guys know somebody, maybe not personally, but you know of somebody that's been murdered and killed before, right? Right? All you guys. Did you say your dad? Who said that? Did your dad get killed? Then why would you say it? Well, I'm not dead. That's good too. Obviously not. All right, but I'm going to speak. Can I speak to you men for a minute? Can I speak to you young men for a minute? Watch this. You want to hear a statistic that should really cause you guys to think for a minute? I want you guys to think for a minute. I want you to hear what I'm about to say to you guys, because this should break your heart. Because it breaks my heart. Back in April, there was an article that came out in the newspaper. Young men, listen to me for real. It says that it is more likely for a young black man to die of murder than it is any other way. It is more likely for a young African American man to die from being murdered than it is to die in a car accident, or to die a normal death, or to die from a disease. Guys, I know that being in middle school, you guys think you know it all, but there's a world out there that you're a little bit already exposed to. But that once you get a little bit older, if you're not ready for it, it'll suck you in. It's waiting for you right now to suck you in. I just spoke to the seniors at Mumford the other day. The freshman class had about 40 kids in it, and the senior class had about 15. And that means by the time they become seniors, they've already dropped out of high school, and they're not even in high school anymore, they're out running the streets. How many people know that dropping out of high school isn't going to make you successful? It's just not going to make you successful. If you could please stop cussing over here, I'd appreciate it, because that's pretty disrespectful. Not even so much to me, but to your fellow students. And I'm sure you're not supposed to be cussing in school anyway. So let me go back to you young men. Every one of you guys said that you didn't want to die, right? But I'm here to tell you guys that the decisions, look up here. I want every young man looking at me right now so that I can see you and know that you're serious. Because I see this on a regular basis. I go into schools, I hear about kids getting killed. I'm hearing about it on a regular basis. Young men that are sleeping, I need your attention, please. Or I'm going to have this security guard make you stand up. If you see him sleeping, just make him stand up. Because I'm here to tell you something. It is more likely for you young men to die of being murdered than it is any other way. And I'm hoping and praying that I got your attention to cause you guys to think for a minute. To think for a minute. So that this doesn't happen to you. But statistics say that if you guys don't do what's right and you guys don't have a game plan on doing what's right, this is going to happen. And it's happening on a regular basis. Even for somebody that doesn't live in the city who's hearing about it in their neighborhoods, you can turn on the news and hear about a young person dying almost every day in Detroit. That's sad. And you guys just said that you don't want to see it like that anymore, and you want to see things change. You know how we change Detroit, guys, is by you guys making the right decisions. about how you guys not following the footsteps of your brothers and your sisters who you're disappointed with. It's about rising up and not becoming a statistic. Because guess what? You want to hear another statistic? This is for the ladies and the men. Check this out. 54%, only 54% of African Americans graduate from high school. Only 54%. That means if I had this whole room stand up right now and I separated you guys from side to side, only half of you guys are going to graduate and half of you guys are going to drop out of school. But yet every single one of you guys just said, I don't want to drop out of high school. But everybody that's gone before you and these statistics continue to get worse, say that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So when you guys come in here clowning and thinking you know it all, and you don't want to listen to your teachers, and you don't want to do your homework, and you don't want to do what you're supposed to do, guess what? Guess what? Hey, go ahead and listen to him, my man. Stand up. Stand over there so the people behind you can see you. Guess what? I'm just going to talk to you for a minute. If things don't change, bro, if things don't change, it's going to only get worse. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. And I have a passion for young men, especially because young men are dying left and right in this city. Left and right. There's more mommies and daddies burying their children than there are children burying their mommies and daddies. And it ain't just men either. Let me speak to the ladies for a minute. Let me speak to the ladies for a minute, because this is real too, because I see it especially in high schools. You ladies are so worried about how you look. And you want to look good. And all it takes is for one of these little guys to come up and holler at you for a minute and tell you what you want to hear, and then before you know it, you're either pregnant or you got some type of HIV, gonorrhea, or herpes. But watch this, guys. Guess what? Do you know that once you get HIV, you can't give it back? You're stuck with it. You're stuck with it. How many of you guys want to get HIV? Raise your hand. Who wants HIV? I wouldn't even raise my hand, even kidding around, bro. I hope and pray that doesn't happen to you. Because guess what, guys? Do you know that at an all-time rate right now, that young people are catching AIDS right now? I know because I lost my virginity when I was 14 years old. I'm not proud of it. Not at all. But guess what? I was young just like you, all curious, thinking some females look good, trying to spit my game. And you know what, guys? I'm lucky that I didn't catch no disease. Because here's the reality. Males, it don't matter how fine she looks. You don't know what's up inside her body. Right? Do you know? Ladies, it don't matter how fine he is. Do you know what's up inside his body? No. Absolutely not. Right? Because do you think he's going to tell you? Listen up. Listen up. Do you think he's going to tell you he has AIDS before he sleeps with you?
Yeah.
Do you think she's going to tell you she has AIDS before she sleeps with you? So what is the only solution? You can say using protection on that, but that don't always work. That don't always work. Absolutely not. It ain't worth it, guys. I know somebody, we do a lot of community outreach over on the west side. And there is a girl over there. She was 11 years old when she got pregnant. 11. And she got pregnant by a 20-year-old. But you know what it was? I know that you can say rapist, but she didn't get raped. She gave it up. And you know what now, guys? She had to drop out of school. She's a 13-year-old mom, and she's a kid herself. She's a kid herself. What are her chances for success, guys? No? She could go to school, you're right. But right now, who's going to take care of her baby while she's at school? Nobody. 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 Because it's her responsibility. It's her kid. Watch this. When I was being sexually active, guys, and I'm not proud to say this, and I want you to hear me. I was responsible for having 2 abortions. I paid for a girl to have an abortion. I just found out last month, 10 years later, I'm 30 years old. I'm married with 4 beautiful children. I just found out that from when I was 19 years old, that this girl got pregnant, didn't even know, okay? Had sex with her. I was a punk. Her parents came, we stole her mom's car. They came with the police. They dragged her out of the place that I was living in. Didn't hear from her, but I heard that she had gotten pregnant, but they made her move to Kentucky. So for the last 10 years, I've been always curious, do I have another child out there that I don't know about? I just found out literally last month that she had an abortion, and she says it was the worst thing that she had ever done in her whole life. She said that she has thought about it every single day of her life. It has hurt her. It's hurt her emotionally, and it's hurt her throughout her whole entire, 10 years. And that's a quick decision that, ladies, you can make by getting pregnant. Because nobody wants to get, especially when you're young and you're just having sex, you don't want to get pregnant, you just want to have sex. But the reality is, you can easily get pregnant. Are you ready to be a dad? Absolutely not. Are you guys ready to be moms over here? Huh? Absolutely not, right? But, listen up. But, let's say you did. Let's say you did. Because every single one of you guys in this room, I'm sure, have already reached puberty to where it can happen. To where right now, you guys are capable of making babies. And you know what the sad thing is? There are so many young people like you guys making babies, not only throughout this city, but throughout this country. And what are the chances of that little baby growing up and having a good future? It's going to be a lot more difficult for that young baby to grow up and make good decisions and have a good life when they're being raised by teenagers. But it could happen though. So it broke my heart when I found out what this girl had to go through. And you know what? And she even told me, she said, she apologized to me for taking the baby's life, and I apologized to her for being a part of making that baby. How many of you guys, and I know you can't say it technically because you wouldn't be here, but we'll say it like this. How many of you guys would have been disappointed if your mom aborted you and you weren't here? Raise your hand. Right? Some of you guys may not want to be here. I feel you, because I know there's a lot of things that are going on in life to cause people to feel that way. But you can always overcome those things. So if your mama would have aborted you, you wouldn't be here. So I want you guys to think for a minute that one of the main ways to prevent getting an STD or a disease or having a baby, guess what, is just don't do it. It ain't worth it. It really ain't worth it, guys. So many young people are so quick to grow up. And you know what, guys? The main focus should be is getting through the 6th grade, moving on to the 7th. Moving on from the 7th to the 8th, and especially you 8th graders, moving on to the 9th grade. You just told me that you don't want to be a statistic. Ready to hear this? So this is another one for the young men. Ready? Because you're not a young man. But I'm speaking to you young men. Ready? Here's another statistic. Watch this. This should get you guys thinking too. How many of you guys know somebody that's in jail right now? Raise your hand. All right, listen up, guys. Listen up. Listen up. Because this isn't just men, but the majority are men. So I want you young ladies to listen too, because I know a lot of young ladies out in the streets clowning too. Here we go. Listen. The majority, what does the majority mean? The majority of the 2.3 million people incarcerated in U.S. prisons right now are African American. The most. My pastor, he's African American. He came with me to Mumford the other day, and he said, he was speaking, he said, it is so sad because he said that African Americans only make up 13% of the U.S. population, but yet they have the most people in jail, and their young men are dying more than any other people in the country. How many of you guys think that's a problem? Raise your hand. How many of you guys think it's a problem that the majority of young people that are in jail right now are African American? Raise your hand. You don't. I should see every single person raising their hand in this room right now. How many of you guys think it's a problem that it's more likely for a young African American man to die of murder than it is anything else? Raise your hand, especially young men. And I'm going to challenge you guys at the end of this talk, even for you young ladies, not to become one of these statistics. I don't come in here playing around. I come in here to speak real with you guys. I don't want to hear in 5 years that one of your parents is burying you guys. I don't want to hear in 5 years that one of you young ladies just had a baby or you got pregnant or that you got some type of disease. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because every single one of you guys just said you want to see the city change. Every single one of you guys said you don't want to be a statistic. Well, guess what, guys? It starts with you. There's a reason why you guys were asked to sign "We Shall Overcome." You think that's just a joke? Do you think your signature on that sign up there was just to sign it so it looks good? Absolutely not. We shall overcome. And if you're not about overcoming, then what are you about? Are you all talk or are you real? You might say you're real, you might put on a front that you're real, but are you really real? Because being real is not stepping up on somebody and trying to show them how hard you are. Being real is coming to school and getting good grades. That's being real. Being real is saying no when you're asked to get high. I started smoking weed when I was young. How many of you guys have ever heard the term that smoking weed is the gateway drug? And marijuana is the gateway drug. It's the opening door to other things. You guys haven't heard that yet? You know how many people start smoking weed? They start smoking weed and then all of a sudden, before they know it, they're smoking crack. You can say nothing. I don't even want to hear you say nothing because you don't know. Because when I was your age, I thought the same thing. When I just started smoking weed, I thought, I ain't gonna do nothing else. But guess what, guys? I used to sniff cocaine, pop ecstasy pills. I used to stay up 5 days straight, all drugged out of my mind. And you would have never told me. You would have never told me when I was your age that that would ever happen. But guess what, guys? It opens you up to some other things. How many of you guys, I know we can all relate, how many of you guys have ever seen that guy walking down the street who was all gone out of his mind talking to himself, just acting all crazy? Raise your hand. You guys may know one. Watch this. Watch this. Listen up. You guys know that that guy did not start out that way? That female did not start out that way? They were young like you at one point. Faced with the same temptations, the same peer pressure that you guys are faced with. And do you think that that person who's walking down the street all going out of their mind, all up on some other stuff, do you think that if they could hit the rewind button and go back to the 6th or 7th or the 8th grade when they were first asked to smoke a little bit of weed, that they would have done it different? If they could hit the rewind button and change some things, that they knew the outcome was going to be where they are today, all gone out of their mind, how many of you guys know they would have changed and made some different decisions? How many of you guys know that my man that's sitting behind bars right now for 25 to life for just committing murder, is sitting in jail right now because of a decision that he made, and he can't get out? That just because somebody called him a punk or pushed him or called him out would have maybe done it a little bit different now that he's given his whole life to jail, but he pulled the trigger and now he's facing life. How many of you guys know he would have made a different decision? Raise your hand. Guys, I've been to jail. I've been arrested 13 times, and guess what? It's not worth it. Because once they lock you up and they put you in the jumpsuit, guess what? You're stuck. There's nothing you can do. You do what they tell you to do. You sleep when they tell you to sleep. You eat when they tell you to eat. No, you don't get seconds. And it ain't mama's cooking. It ain't mama's cooking. And you're stuck. You're stuck. And I promise you, you don't want to go to jail. You don't. There ain't nothing cool about going to jail. You know what's cool? Graduating and getting a degree. You guys know who Ben Carson is? Dr. Ben Carson, you ever heard of him? Dr. Ben Carson, he's from the city of Detroit. He was just here speaking not too long ago. Dr. Ben Carson came from the same streets you guys came from, faced with the same temptations you guys are faced with. But you know what he did? His mama made him, rather than being out on the streets having fun, running around acting the fool, his mama made him stay at home and read books. She said, son, you're going to do things a little bit different. And some of you guys may not have mommy and daddy telling you to do good. Some of your parents may not even care. When I was at Northwestern High School last week, the counselor told me we got 700 kids in this school, and on parent-teacher conference night, we'll be lucky to get 20 parents. 20 parents. And you know what, guys? A lot of the issues of young people today are not the young people's fault, it's the parents' fault. It starts with the parents. It starts at home. But I'm here where my message comes in is this. Just because mommy and daddy aren't helping you, just because mommy or daddy may not even be there, just because they're not there to encourage you and help you do right, doesn't mean that you have to do wrong. And my challenge is for you guys to rise up and overcome. And to truly overcome. Not to just hear what I'm saying, not to just see what I've gone through, because guess what? I've gone before you guys. I know that the world is tough. I know that making those decisions are going to lead you somewhere. I'm a felon, guys. And luckily I became my own business owner. And I do businesses and I've become successful on my own. I couldn't even go get a regular job because of my record. I couldn't even go get a job. I lost my license, guys, for 10 years. Some of you guys that are going to be 16 in a few years, get your license. It's a privilege. Because they took it from me. Matter of fact, they didn't take it from me. I gave it to them. I got 2 drunk driving. I had 2 drunk drivings, and one of them was an accident, and I almost lost my life. Got into an accident and almost lost my life. Whose fault was it, guys? Whose fault was it, guys? Whose choice was it to drop out of high school? Whose choice was it to start selling drugs? Whose choice was it to get girls pregnant? My choice. So guess what, guys? I can't blame anything that I've done on anybody else. Just like you guys as young people can't blame how you act on somebody else. You can't point the finger and say, it was her fault, or it was his fault, or he made me do it. Last time I remember, nobody can make you do anything unless you're locked up. Unless you're locked up. Nobody's going to make you jump in bed. Nobody's going to make you get high. Nobody's going to make you drop out of school. I challenge you guys to start listening to what you're told. There's a reason why your teachers are here telling you guys what they tell you is because they care about you and they love you. They care about you and love you. You may not think so, young man, because you may have never experienced somebody caring for you and loving you. But you know why I'm here? Because I care for you and I love you. I don't get paid to come in here and do this. Your school told me, we don't have money for you to come, Justin. I said, guess what? I'm coming anyway because I care about your kids. I care about your kids. It ain't about them being broke. You know what? The whole city, guys, in a sense, is broke. It's broken. But what are you guys going to do to change? Just because the mic isn't working all the way, just because some of the seats are broken, just because maybe you guys see some things around the school that maybe are broke, doesn't mean that you guys got to be broke. Like I said in the beginning, I heard you guys are some of the best students in town. I ain't lying. Would you rather be the best students in the town or the worst? I can't hear you. What? The best. So guess what? Who does it start with? Well, I'm saying in the school right now. Okay, your parents may not be there. Who does it start with now? It starts with you. Your teachers can be the best teachers, but unless you guys listen to them and do what you're supposed to do, it don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. Right, young man? I appreciate you agreeing with me, sir. I care about young people, and I especially care about young men because I know what's going on out there. My man, can you stand up, please? Right here, just for sleeping. Right here. I see you. Yeah, you were. Stand up, sir. You're good? You're good? Hey, it ain't his fault. It's your fault. You're the one that went to sleep. Yeah, you did. I seen your eyes closed. It ain't his fault. Don't blame him. He's just doing his job.
Go ahead.
That's what I'm talking about, guys. That's what I'm talking about. We can't blame other people when we do something. We got to take responsibility. That's how we overcome. That's how we change. That's how we make a difference. And I know this is about to be done, guys. And I appreciate you guys. And I'll come back. I know 8th graders, you guys are moving on to high school. You guys will probably see me at your high school next year. But 6th and 7th graders, we got other things that we do. We don't just come in to talk one time. We actually come in to work with you guys. We want to see you guys rise up. If you guys are struggling in school right now, we want to see you get your grades up. I was at Mumford the other day. I had some kids coming up to me. So I go to Mumford every month. I had kids coming up to me saying, guess what, Justin? I raised my grade point average up to 3.2 or 3.5. And when I'm in the school and I was speaking at another class and I got kids seeking me out from other classes because they want to see me, that makes me feel good. Because that's why I come into schools. That's why I work with young people. That's why I reach out to young people, whether they're young or older. Is because you have a purpose and you have a future. Every single one of you guys, every single one of you, even you, my man, even though you're standing, every single one of you guys have greatness inside of you. Greatness. Called to do great things. Called to be doctors and attorneys and business owners. Called to do great things. Great things. How many of you guys have dreams or goals for your future? Raise your hand. Dreams or goals? Raise your hand. I can't see little half hands. I need to see them up. Dreams or goals? Right? You guys have dreams or goals. Well, guess what? You guys need to put a game plan in place to accomplish those dreams or goals. Because I want to see you guys become successful. And the only way, guys, that Detroit is going to change, every single one of you guys said you want to see a change. The only way it's going to change, guys, is if you are the change. You got to be the change. And you may not know how. Where's that? Can you pass those out for me, sir? I'm going to also, ma'am, I'm going to give you some of these. This is how we can stay connected. You may be feeling what I'm saying, you may be not. Matter of fact, come here, man, you can help me. Since you're already standing. Right here, pass those out. Yeah. They're going to pass out this little contact card. How many of you guys, you may or may not, I don't know because I've never talked to young people in school before. How many of you guys are connected like on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that? Raise your hand. Awesome. Well, guys, so am I. And the way I can stay connected with you, young men, and encourage you and help you, even though mom or your dad or somebody else may not be in your life right now encouraging you, I want to encourage you. I put out stuff on my Facebook and on my YouTube on a regular basis. And I have young people that tell me in school, what if I follow you? Are you going to follow me back? I'll follow you back by the end of the day. And that's how serious I am. If you want to be connected, and you ever got something that you're going through, I even have, how many of you guys have cell phones? Raise your hand. All right. I created a specific phone number on this card. It's a student line. They call it the student hotline. It's a phone number that I only give to students. I don't give this to any of my friends, nobody else. Teachers don't even get this line. I created it specifically for students so that if you're going through something or you're having a struggle or a hard time, you can text this number, you can call this number, and I promise you, you'll get a response. I had a student one time at 10:30 at night send me a text message and he said, Justin, I just found out that somebody I love dearly has cancer. Can you encourage me for a minute? Can you pray for me? And I did. And I did. Because why? Because I don't just say it, guys. I'm not up here just telling you what you want to hear. Even though y'all may be telling me what I want to hear. I'm real with you guys. When I get in front of a group of students, I take it very seriously. That I want to connect with you guys. If you follow me on Twitter, I'm going to follow you back. If you hit me up on Facebook, I'm going to hit you back. And if you text me or call me because you're going through something, maybe you're at home, maybe you're in a struggle, maybe you just made a bad decision. We all make mistakes. How many of you guys have ever made a mistake before? Raise your hand. If I could raise 2 hands and my feet, I would raise mine. Many mistakes. So guess what, guys? It's normal. We all make mistakes. However, it's getting back up. It's getting back up. It's getting back up. All right, guys, is this about to be over, Miss Howland?
Yes.
Okay. Here's my challenge. You ready? Here's my challenge. And this is what it all comes down to, guys. I need everybody listening up. Even if I could drop a pin right here, I want to hear it, so I need everybody to pay pay attention. And this is only for the people that I'm talking to right now, that I want to know, that are really, really serious about what I'm saying. And some of you guys may not be serious, and that's okay. I pray that if you're faced with a situation or you find yourself in something that we've talked about today, that you remember our conversation that we had today. Because guys, even though I made it out, even though I went to jail and I was able to get out, even though I used some drugs and I overdosed and almost died, I made it out. Even though I got into a drunk driving accident and almost lost my life, but I made it out. Even though I made some bad decisions by having sex with girls that I did not end up with a disease, that doesn't mean that you won't. I know people that I grew up with that are no longer here right now because they made some poor decisions and now they're in the grave. And guess what, guys? When the grave closes, it ain't opening back up. It's not opening back up. So here's my challenge. You ready? Here it is. If you're serious, I need everybody's attention. Look up here, everybody. Wake up, look up. This is the most important part of my talk with you guys. Listen up. Listen up. If you're serious about your future, if you're serious when you say, I'm not going to be a statistic, Justin, I'm not going to drop out of high school, I'm not going to, mess around and make some mistakes, I'm not going to go out in the streets and put myself in a situation where I could be killed, I'm not going to lay with my man just because he wants to talk to me like he's Romeo, I'm not going to jump in bed with so-and-so because she's talking to me what I want to hear. If you're serious about your future, and I already know you guys signed it, and you really are serious about overcoming, I do a challenge in high schools. It's called the Champions Challenge. Because every single one of you guys have a champion in you. Every single one of you guys. Every single one of you guys. Don't stand up if you're not serious. If you're serious about your future, you don't want to be a statistic, you want to be a part of change, and you're ready to do something with your life, I want you to stand up right now. Stand up right now. And if you're not, you can stay seated because maybe you're not ready for it. And that's okay. And that's okay. I'm not forcing anybody, I'm not making anybody, I'm not twisting and turning hands to make you stand up, because guess what? Listen up, look at me. By you standing up, you're making an acknowledgement to yourself, that you're serious about your future. You're not doing it for Justin, you're not doing it for Miss Holly, you're not doing it for your other teachers. You're doing it for you. So listen up, guys. Listen up. Listen up. I'm going to come back, what is it, Tuesday? For your award ceremony. Are they all in the award ceremony? You guys are all going to be here. For all you guys that are standing right now, this is what I'm going to need from teachers, of the students that are here right now. The only way, I know that sometimes something could happen, you maybe get sick and you can't come to school, but if you're standing right now, I expect you guys to be here Tuesday, because I'm going to come back and I'm going to present you with a certificate. And that certificate is from my organization and my company to you young people. Listen up. If not, turn around or sit back down, because you're not serious. If you're serious, you should be quiet right now. If you're serious, you should be looking at me standing up. So I got to finish up, because I got to move on to the younger kids. I will come back and I will give you guys a certificate because you're serious, and that's called the Champions Challenge. And that certificate simply represents you making the decision today that you're not going to be a statistic, that you're going to be a champion, and you're going to do something with your future. I'm serious about your future, are you? Are you? I hope so. I hope so. So on the count of 3, I want you guys to repeat after me, and I want you to say it aloud so your teachers can hear it. I want you guys to say it loud so the other kids in your school can hear it. I want you to say it loud and mean it. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. I am a champion. I am a champion. I am not a statistic. I can't hear you. I'm a champion. I'm a leader. I will overcome. I will do something great with my life. I am a champion. I will think Before I act, I will use wisdom in my decision making. I will do good in school because I want to be successful. I will do good in school because I want to be successful. I will respect those around me, and I will respect myself because I'm a champion. Because I'm a champion. Because I'm a champion. Give yourselves a hand, EMAN. Have a seat for just one moment so your teachers can give you instruction. I need you guys quiet. How many of you guys honestly are going to follow me on Twitter so I can follow you back? Raise your hand. How many of you guys are going to hit me up on Facebook so I can hit you back? Raise your hand. Make sure you do it right away because I want to stay connected with you guys, okay? Hey, thank you guys. Listen up. Thank you guys so much for having me at the world today. You guys are a special group of kids. Give yourselves a hand. Give yourselves a hand.